Alright, so I'm going to do this tutorial. Yesterday, which was November 27th, 2017, is when I learned how to install and set up Retropie. I guess I've been dabbling with it, just tiny amounts in the last, during 2017. So, what we got? Alright, so you go to the Retropie website, that's retropie.org.uk. Because somebody in the UK wanted to have the retropie.org website domain, and the system, the organizations that run this kind of stuff, they put on .uk because of where it's originating from. But the point is, you go to their website. All right. I went to download, which just means that you get Retropie. I did install it on my Raspberry Pi 3 and it runs really well. And mine came with Quake 3 on there. I believe the demo version of Quake 3, and it runs very fluid, very smooth with maximum settings on my Raspberry Pi 3, which is not overclocked. Anyway, you go down here to, you want to install it on top of an existing operating system. So I did Debian or Ubuntu on a PC because I'm running Linux Mint as my operating system on this computer. So what I did is I go, okay, installation, you have Ubuntu or, some type of Debian distro. It tells you how to do it right here, but I'm going to assume you already have Linux on there. So what you do is you open up Terminal, which is the command line. Did I click on it or not? Okay, there we go. So we open up the Terminal, and I just literally just cut and paste this stuff. I'm not going to go through all the steps again because I already installed it. But you just cut and paste, hit enter, follow every command all through this. And then eventually you're going to get to this command here where you do sudo space dot / retropie setup. And then you go through basic install, update and install packages. Now later you'll go to manage packages. So you go to that, and so anyway, you're going to have folders in your home folder here. There's Retropie as a folder. And you go into Retropie, you go into ROMs. And then if you got ROMs for Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx 16, whatever you got, what you'll do is you'll go in here and you'll create directories. So for Super Nintendo, you create a folder, a directory called SNES, and then you just put your ROMs in there because that's where the emulator expects them to be. Same thing for NES. Genesis was actually Mega Drive. That's where I put mine there. Arcade, you've got your MAME versions there. Now you notice there's no folder that says ROMs. That's because it expects them in a different place. Alright, there's your typical MAME arcade stuff. I believe I put it in MAME for all. So it's MAME-MAME for all. Because there's so many different compilations or editions of MAME. They're all like the same emulator, but there's different builds of it according to what hardware and what range of hardware that it's emulating, I guess, the best. And then main for all, you put all of them here. As you can see, you got all the ROMs there. That's where it expects it to be. Now in Retropie setup, you go here and we're gonna run this command Retropie. Gonna run it in terminal. We'll just open up a terminal here. Maybe I just didn't do it right. It doesn't matter. I'll show you why it doesn't matter. So go to the menu, games. Yeah, I got a lot of games installed, and this is Linux. This is not Microsoft Windows. So I find RPie, Retropie, and it's got like a pie with a joystick in it, or it looks like a cupcake. So this, I think, can use the keyboard for some things, but it's designed to use the controller. As you can see, I got all these games in here. Here's my Sega Genesis games. Nintendo NES. I have not installed any DOS games on here yet. Scum VM. I installed Maniac Mansion on there. Super Nintendo games. Yeah, we're going to go in Retropie for setup. There we go. Now, check this out. We're going to go to Manage Packages, and then OK. We're going to go Manage Optional Packages. Now, I had to learn this myself. It's like I just played around with it. What do I want to install? I can go through here. So if you want to install MAME, you got these advanced MAME installed. AGS, I think, is Adventure Game Studio. DGen is a Sega Genesis Mega Drive emulator. DOS box is, you know, for MS-DOS. LinApple is Apple IIe or Apple II emulator. Stella is, I think, an Atari emulator. Vice is your Commodore emulator. We'll install this one here. It's PlayStation emulator, I believe. And go ahead and hit OK. We're going to install from source. It's going to grab the source code from the internet and compile it for your system. Here we go. It's grabbing. It's going to compile as well. And it's going to have everything set up for you. All you need to do is put the ROMs in the appropriate directory wherever it, you know, expects them to be, and we covered that already in this video. So it's doing all this work for you. And then it's going to compile it from source code. I probably should not have done this one because I think it takes more stuff to get on this one than it did some of the other emulators. There we go. It's installed. You know, Didn't take very long. Oops, I accidentally went through it again. So now it's compiling and installing. And while that's doing that, you just tab out of, you just alt tab out of that and go into something else. So I might be able to play the games made from the Adventure Game Studio, which is Maniac Mansion Deluxe. I might be able to play this in the, it's pretty cool. Like the ports. I was playing Duke Nukem 3D last night. I even put in the high resolution pack, and I had Polymer and Polymost, which are I think they're implementations of OpenGL. Yeah, Polymost is an OpenGL renderer written by Ken Silverman. That guy's pretty awesome. As a replacement to the classic 8-bit software rendering mode for Duke Nukem 3D or for the BuildNet engine that it runs on. Described as employing classic rendering methodology with OpenGL tools and techniques. It's okay. So Polymer has kind of replaced it. Okay. Modern shaders, okay. Polymer deficiencies. Let's see, that's done. We're gonna go back. What else do we want to install? I can install Kodi if I want to. Anyway, after you install your stuff, you go back, you manage your drivers. You do your PS3 controller kind of stuff. Manage experimental packages. Some of these are emulators. You can exit out of it, and then there you go. Let's prove that it works. Here we go. So that's the process of installing and setting up Retropie. Hope you enjoyed it.